Hello everybody, here is Alin Vlad. I'm an Oracle certified Java professional living in Romania. I'm a teacher, programmer and spiritual leader. Today I'm teaching you improve comedy and cinema film creating. So improvisation is the only art form that I can think of that has unlimited budget. The only restriction is your imagination. So you have to be surprising and delighting your comrade, your body to generate comedy. So surprising means doing or saying things that are unexpected or unpredictable, catching the other person off guard in a fun or creative way. Delighting means creating moments of joy, amusement, or wonder, often by being clever, imaginative, or emotionally engaging. And audience suggestions are the hallmark of improvisation. If you don't take audience suggestions, you lose the spontaneity and direct engagement with the audience. And people are here to share your moment of inspiration, to be in the moment. And children approach every opportunity to have lots of goals. Adults want one perfect goal. So only if we think that we are perfectly 100% successful, only then we want to try, but it's not good. You have to have a lot of goals and relax, of course. You can't be good at improvisation or comedy if you are anxious with a gun pointed at your head. You are not relaxed. So be relaxed. Nothing bad is going to happen. Also, you can take L-theanine green tea supplements. It makes you more relaxed. Yeah. So we always look anxious before we do things because that's how we've been learned from the childhood. If we were washing dishes and break a plate, your mother said, "Oh, you're not good. You can't just be relaxed and happy for doing that." So you must put that away and be relaxed. You're most yourself when you're with your oldest friend and a bottle of wine. That's when you're most witty, spark, and full of ideas. So your inner improviser is better when you're relaxed. Okay, you have to attempt any performance with energy, focus, and enthusiasm. Yeah, you can drink coffee for enthusiasm. It works. So people are very body-led. They don't realize that, but the benefit of playing an improv game or anything loudly and cheerfully, it turns off your internal sensor. You know, that internal sensor that tells you something is not right and needs to be checking. But when you're happy and cheerfully, you forget about everything that's bad. So many adults simply stop being creative. And if you tell yourself, "I'm bad," it will make you this worse. So say positive remarks to yourself, and this will make you better and better and better and better. You have no fear if you go on stage and experience very little change in state if you move from the audience to the stage. You have to be brave. Okay, a group which makes a lot of mistakes and is laughing, is happy, is better than a serious group with a lot of concentrations and next to no mistakes, because it's more boring. So improvisation is about enthusiasm. It's safe to assume that the more noise a group makes, the more fun they're having. Yeah. Okay, adults versus children. Children will get out of game with happiness. They will invent new rules if the game isn't moving quickly enough. But adults want to get the rules right. They don't want to get out. So be like children. There are three types of making a game, and the volume is directly proportional to that. If you kill every idea of your partner, this will make a noise, because killing other people's ideas is fun, but it's not as good as accepting your partner's ideas with enthusiasm. If you accept every idea without enthusiasm, it will be very silent game, not fun. But if you accept every idea of your partner with enthusiasm, like it's the best idea ever, and you can't wait to put it into action, this will make the volume go to the roof. It will make a force, a momentum present, and this can develop into a story. Yes, your eyes will sparkle, your face will shine, you will laugh. So accept your partner's ideas with enthusiasm. Okay, think why you need to be so serious all the time. You have to be less serious. This is a problem for human in general. So let control go in small ways. Don't plan everything. Focus in the present. Okay? Don't be so serious sticking to routines. Step out of your comfort zone. Stop overthinking. Relax. Okay? Don't take your mistakes or failures too hard. Nobody will remember that. And the basis of improvisation is saying yes and adding more. So if you block an idea, this will not develop a story. But we prefer improvisers to accept offers, to accept the ideas, because people will cooperate with each other and construct a world in which a story can take place. If they're arguing, they're not accepting their ideas, the story will not get started. Okay, the audience may laugh because of the blocking, but it will not develop into a story, so it will not affect the characters in a deep way. So we want to say yes to our partner's ideas to inspire our partner. Okay, accept and build. Build the ideas. This is the fundamental of improvisation. Okay, feeling comfortable is very important to people, but you have to maintain a positive, happy attitude in the face of failure. Okay, forget discomfort. It's in your mind, this discomfort. It's far worse in your mind. It's not real. So, to make improvisation better, be good to work with. Make your partner be a genius by treating him like a genius. Okay, if the process is good, the results will be good. So, find out what other people want. Okay? Your partner's talent changes according to your attitude toward him. So treat them as if they're a genius. Accept their ideas with enthusiasm. This will make the process better. Okay? So accept ideas without fear. Accept the idea that other people's opinions, ideas, open your mind, and together you can make the story better, the process better. So be positive, because friends are people who accept their ideas, say yes to each other naturally. So blocking is killing an idea, denying the audience something they thought they have been promised. But accepting an idea, it pushes the story into the future. It's not dependent on saying yes or no, because if you say, will you marry me, and you say no, we will have a story about unrequited love. But if you say yes, we will have a story about a wedding. So it's not dependent on the words yes or no. But you must stop stupid or destructive offers, okay? Build one story idea on another. Create a stable situation in the beginning rather than plunging the hero into a disaster right away. Because we want to see the hero in his normal environment. Then we will see everything which is surprising. But in the beginning, be obvious, add information, raise the stakes, and at the end, reincorporate ideas to make an ending or to provide structures. Okay, stories are the basis of improvisation because the hunger for story is almost impossible to sate. Humans are compelled to tell stories. Okay, people want to see what will happen next. Okay, children are good storytellers because they aren't trying to be good at it. Okay, for the story to be interesting, the hero must be made to suffer. We must build a platform initially to see where the hero is in his natural environment. Then we will try to find the right trouble for the right hero. Okay, this is a platform because if you see a natural disaster on the other side of the world but you don't know that people, you say, oh, how often, and go on. But if your best friend that you know him a lot and makes an accident, this is a tragedy because you know that person, you care about them more than some other people that maybe you don't know. So a storyteller is playing an evil trick on the audience. First we establish a hero and make the audience care about them and like them. Then we torture that hero because a story is about, a character being affected. Improvisation is about A changes B, the character 1 changes the other character. This is something that happens. Okay, we have to do in that order. First care about the hero and then suffer, because if you make the other way, if you don't care about that person and make him suffer, there's no effect. Okay, so the platform is a stable situation. At the beginning it shows the hero in the right place for them, shows us what normal looks like. So also this is a problem, if you make the platform very interesting at the beginning, like he's going into a volcano, then you have to think of something more interesting than that to sustain the audience attention. So find something obvious, okay? Because if you begin with something less interesting, then you can find something more interesting much easier. So interrupting a routine at the beginning feels like an action, but if this interruption is too random, it doesn't feel it has any point. So break the routine with something obvious. This provides the point of the action. Okay? A platform should be sustained until just before it gets boring. So you must learn this. You must feel when it gets boring. Okay? The longer the platform, the more material the story has to sustain itself. Like the Lord of the Rings has a big platform showing everything how it's normal. So, and the story doesn't start until the first break in the routine. So don't make the audience wait for that, because they will get bored. You can also assume the platform. Like, if you start in a bank in central New York, then you know what's happening. The platform is assumed. You can also start in the middle of the action, but it's harder. Okay. You delivered on the promise of violence and spectacle early, and later you can do something less interesting. But you must appreciate the value of being obvious. Okay, because if you are not obvious, the story can go in unexpected directions. With this unnecessary originality, okay, if you panic, you introduce a idea which sidetracks away from the main idea. So, or you can say this is not good idea, hopping from idea to idea, but this is not good. You have to get any idea and move that into the future. The audience will be happy. Okay. And the audience is constantly one step ahead of you. So you have two choices: to give them what they expect without making them wait. This is the best part, because the story will make sense and they will be pleased. But if you try to do something better than what they expected, okay, it will not be as good as what they expected. So it's better to give them what they expect, not give something other. Okay, give them what they expect. You make a promise to the audience, and okay, everything must be done for a reason. Okay, what is a promise? When Little Red Riding Hood is asked by her mother to take a basket of cookies to her grandma, this promised the audience that a trip to grandma will take place. Okay? If you try to sabotage, do something else, this will not keep the promise. It will feel unoriginal. Okay, this will stray. If you break the promise, the audience will not trust you. Okay, you must do everything for a reason. Okay, the mother tells Little Red Riding Hood not to step and pick flowers on the way. Okay, this will promise an audience that she will stop and pick the flowers on the way, and this will make her in trouble. So everything is done for a reason. But if you are convinced you have something better to raise the stakes than anything that the audience is anticipating, go for it. So you have to raise the stakes, not lower the stakes. Okay, the audience knows what it wants. You must find out what the audience wants and provide it. This will make great stories. Okay, so solicit bad feedback, because that's how you learn. You must try this, and that's how you know which works and which doesn't work. So so certain platforms promise certain kind of trouble. You can't make Cinderella a Terminator to avenge her father's death, because it's not the right trouble for the right hero. Okay. Search for the obvious trouble. Okay, don't make a trouble salad with many sources, none of which feels right. So to find the right trouble for the right hero, you have to know who the hero is and develop an idea that moves the story into the future. Don't have thousands of ideas. Make an idea and develop that into the future. Don't add other sources of troubles. Okay, sometimes solving problems is bad, because it cancels the story. Nobody's made to suffer. If you have a rose hidden and you said, "I'm sorry, boss," this cancels everything, because nobody's made to suffer, and the stakes return to the ground level. So if you pick up rose and deny it, then blood starts going down your chest. This makes the right trouble for a hero. He didn't solve the problem. Okay. So the point here is, we have to know who our hero is. You have to know what he's trying to achieve. He is suffering in the pursuit of that goal, and he has been forced to make a moral choice, because this is something audience find very interesting. The human moments. Okay, you can also use reincorporations. put a lot of ideas in the beginning, and in the end you must use them. Okay? Instead of searching for from the new idea, you can make use of something already mentioned. So this reincorporation provides both structure and endings. Okay, if you invent extra elements only when they are needed, it's harder because you can make a god character that can solve every problem and the audience will not be satisfied by it. Okay, so your obvious, your unconscious creative process, it's not the same like mine. Your obvious is not the same as mine, and your obvious is your talent, so trust your unconscious creative process. Okay, these are the creative geniuses are trusting their obvious. Okay, you can start with the ending because the audience remembers scenes that end well, and if the end is bad, they will remember everything as bad. So start with the ending. You must know how the story will end, and then you do the rest, the beginning. Okay? And the endings don't exist out of context. So start with the ending. Okay? If the middle or end of a story is boring, it's because the beginning is boring. You are not telling a story correctly. Okay? If you make jokes and have no story, okay, you can have no love and no story. But if you have a story, okay, this is much better. At the end, you can break rules which are intending to keep the scenes alive. So the villain is defeated in the end, it's cancelled. You can complete routines, or you can join things to bring stories at a close. Okay, at the end, all promises have been kept and all questions have been answered. So, if you reincorporate earlier elements, this is how a story is moving to a close. You know, at every cinema movie, at the end, it's a reincorporation of some element from the beginning. And that's how the story is moving to a close. Okay? Or you can keep building the energy of a scene and at the end fade the lights slowly when people laugh the hardest. But you must do once or twice per night. So the general structure is be obvious, build a platform where everything is normal, break the routine, get the hero into trouble, raise the stakes, and at the end reincorporate the ideas to bring it to an end. You can tell an infinite number of satisfying stories with this general structure. So, as I said in the beginning, you establish the hero, what normality is like, then you break the routines to start the story, at the end you reincorporate something from the beginning to feel like an end. So breaking routines will happen early and reincorporating ideas late. Okay, if you think more, you have to feel more to become a better improviser. And if you feel more, you need to think more to become a better improviser. So if you think too much, try to discover the hidden structures. And those who feel, they may not make a story very good. So you have to have both parts, thinking and feeling, to be a good improviser. Okay. One game stresses instinct, the other intellect. So you have to combine instinct and intellect. Okay. So, okay, you can't blindly accept the first idea, but you must avoid also being stuck in thinking too much in structure and concept, and to allow the inspiration through. So analyze your work. Okay, status. In life, you see low status and high status characters. This is life, this is dominance. You can see how dominant or submissive you are in your behavior. This is for creating characters, okay? Improvisation is about great stories, rich characters, and believable interactions. And if you get the status right and the environment, the story often takes care of itself. So, let's see what is a low status, okay? If you touch your face intermittently, you jiggle, you can't have eye contact. This is a low status character, but it's not about. Nobody tells me be anxious. This is from your actions, okay? A high status character makes steady eye contact, keeps his head absolutely still when he's speaking, like a pool of water, okay? This will make you seem sexy, confident, mature, intimidating, okay? This is about the behaviors which create those effects of status, high status and low status, okay? And something said by the same words said by a low status character comes across differently when are said by a high status character. If you spill a coffee on somebody and said, I'm sorry, this is a low thing. But if you say, I'm sorry, like with high status, they will, think you are not sorry at all. So the same word said by high status and low status have different effect. So truly high status people have nothing to hide. Okay? Status has nothing to do with your job, your salary, your dress, your grooming, or dialogue, okay? And extremes of status usually lead to comedy, where small status gaps tend to lead to drama. Okay, this is how you become high status character. You gesture infrequently but purposefully, make the middle of your body bigger and taller, invade someone else's personal space, speaking short sentences, hold eye contact, pause and comfortably sustain the silence, okay? React minimally to the physical presence of others, okay? Think about touching the other person's head, but don't do it. And to be low status, you have to touch your face briefly and intermittently, use long rambling sentences fragmenting your speech, make the middle of your body smaller, keep distance from other people, jiggle nervously, want to look at others but hate to make eye contact, okay, shift from foot to foot, or say er before you speak, okay. This is high and low status characters. And comedians raise their status immediately before a fall to maximize its comic potential, okay? And it's possible to be both likable and high status, to be really confident, okay? You have to have both high status body language with a smiling, charming behavior, compliment others, don't defend yourself, and at the same time raise the status of others while maintaining your own. Okay, this is how president should be. Raise the status of others while maintaining your own. Okay. You can have high status body language and say I'm unemployed, okay, without physically apologizing, and you must be really confident to do that, okay. And you can't really win a status battle, you can only lose. And okay, losing is what an audience is looking for. That's when they laugh. Okay, the mechanism that drives all stories, whether comedy or drama, is two people interacting. A changes B. Okay, everything you do for a reason. Reasons must follow actions and causes follow effects. You must establish the causes. Okay, and if you bring a character into his apartment, this apartment is really interesting because it enlightens the character. If you say, I just move in, it's not my apartment, then why should we care about this if that it's not his character? So make the character own the apartment, make him decorate the apartment or it won't fit the scene. And make assumptions about the other characters. Okay, work together. Neither is carrying the other partner in improvisation. So ask questions, okay? Okay, the absurdity curve. Okay. Audience love more and more if the absurdity curves rises. But you don't have to start with really strange, absurd things in the beginning. If you say, come here, look at my guillotine, it's too early. You must begin slowly the absurdity. You must say, oh, I've always been interested in French Revolution, this is a map, this is a cloak from somebody, would you like to see the basement? And now you promise a guillotine or something really absurd. Okay, but this absurdity is only as absurd as the reaction it generates. If you say, oh, I have a guillotine too at home, then the character refuses to be affected, and this is still a platform. And then you must have a better idea to break the routine. So the really genius thing, the really good advice is to have one character which is a normal person, and another which is crazy, because this generates the story much faster than having two crazy people running around. So if you're a good improviser, you must know to be Alice, to be a normal person, rather than be another crazy two crazy people. You must have one normal people and one crazy people. Okay, if you make the audience too interested in one object, then they won't like when you move to something else. So have a strong reaction. This is how you break all the routines. If one character is emotionally affected by the other, then we get the sensation that something has happened. So A changes B, the first character changes the other. This is how we perceive that something has happened, a story. If you refuse to change, it's a form of blocking. And also the richness of the context matters, not only how characters affect each other. The audience is experiencing the spontaneity, the being in the moment, the unique mechanism of doing that in the present. Okay, if your partner is showing you how you can hurt them, like I'm afraid of snakes, then you must really be really sadistic to take advantage of this and make him suffer. Okay, he must also be submitting to the suffering and secretly enjoying it. That's how one character changes the other. Okay, if you're not affected, like if you kill somebody's snake and he said, I got another, not so big deal, then this is not a good story. The audience is hoping for remorse, guilt, grief and so on, for big reactions. Okay, if he cries, oh no, my snake, this is very funny and absurd. Okay. Okay, so reincorporation at the end, it doesn't need the additional justification. You can feel the environment in the beginning with arbitrary things, and at the end they turn into magical good ideas if you remember them. Okay, most stories are about two people, their relationship, the environment. We discover why today is different from another day, and then we make the characters suffer, or both, as a result. Okay, so define quickly, you can be wrong. If you postpone this defining where no object exists, This is harder. So imagine being in a place, look around and see what is there. Imagine where you are in a ballroom, look around. Those things will inspire you. You look like act and like you're really there. So, and another thing is ask questions. Open questions, they make assumption. What can you smell instead of can you smell anything? So assumptions when asking questions to your partner. Okay, tilting. Something completely unexpected happens that makes the direction of the story go in another way. For example, at the beginning they sustain a normality, and then we introduce one idea which could not have been predicted from the beginning, but does not contradict the story. But this idea will immediately and massively change the other character. Like, two strangers are meeting in a park, they share sandwiches, and then somebody says, yes, this was my favorite place to come when I was still alive. So, if the other person joins, this can be destroyed. If he said, oh, I'm dead too, nothing interesting, nothing surprising. This is confusing and boring. So, low stakes trivial random offers which are not reacted by the other characters are not good. Okay, so give the audience what you promised them. Okay, if you're in a pet store, then you promise the audience, you go there and ask for a pet or a pet related product. The audience will not expect anything else like, we have ice cream here. This is confusing. This is, a low stake, out of the ordinary offer that affects nobody. But if that pet store turns into a front of hitman operation, or I don't know, something that affects and changes the character, a high stakes offer out of the ordinary, which receives our truthful emotional reactions, then this is something different. This is variety. This is something good. Okay, and audience remember some details, but the details that have little bearing on the plot are easily forgotten. So try giving the characters exotic names, because it's better having a character like Crazy Ape, because if you have confusing names like Bill, Phil, Paul, Peter, it's confusing. But if you have an exotic name, they will remember that character much better. So work as a team with your partners, give up the initiative, look for a partner for guidance, and trust that his idea will make the world better. Get the best out of your partner, make him work better, and this happy atmosphere will make the process much better. Okay, to be better to work with your partner, you have to pump enthusiasm and energy out. If you are feebly bored, without enthusiasm, they will say, oh, this is not good, and it will make the process harder, and your partner has to do a greater, harder work to make a story. So, as an improviser, don't be like in real life, being defensive, like treating a monster as real. Okay, the bolder, more experienced improviser have the monster slash up on their abdomen and keep fighting while holding their guts with their free hand. Okay, be killed or kill the monster. This is not necessarily the end of a story. Okay, so don't get defensive like in real life. Be bold, be brave. So this difference in energy is extraordinary. If you have enthusiasm, if you're happy, it will be much better than being the rules, playing stiff, restrained, try your hardest. This is about enthusiasm and being brave. Okay, like when you're a kid, you're using accents, big physicality, and really imagining the bad guys. Okay, so be in the moment. If you think about the future or about the past, you're not in the moment. Okay, like you can't change the future. You can only change the present. Yeah, so unconscious mind is better. If you use your unconscious mind in improvising, it's faster. Okay, in other art forms like writing, painting, you use your conscious mind, but in improviser you have to be in the moment and reveal the unconscious mind. Okay, so don't keep the audience waiting. This will worry the audience. Okay, and you and your partner must collaborate so instinctively and with such complicity to make the scene better. Okay, so too much conflict in the beginning eliminates the helpful platform, but also too little conflict toward the middle of a scene, it makes boring. So you must have a balance. So A changes B. The audience knows when they want more information and when they have had all their questions answered and ready to hear the next thing. So embrace your partner's offers, abandon the contour of the future. Okay. If there is a great deal of action, but the characters don't change each other, we feel that nothing had happened, even if there is big action. Okay. And another thing, if there's a little action but the character have been changed by one another, we feel that something really powerful happened. So the basis of improvisation stories is that A changes B. One character is altered by another deeply. This is how we perceive as actions. If the characters are not changed, then we get a feeling that nothing has happened. So reactions, emotional changes are at the heart and soul of stories. Okay? We must think, everybody thinks as a story on the plot, what happens. But it's really about the emotional content. The A changes B, the first character changes the other characters. Like in Star Wars, when Luke found about his father, he was deeply changed. He howled with emotional pain. This made the episode so resonant. If he said, I don't care, I will kill anyway, all the drama will drain away. So A changes B is the big genius, extremely advice that you must take care of. Okay. Most drama is about people having big reactions to big events, and most comedy is about people having big reactions to little events. So big reactions, A changes B. Okay, and if the situation gets less and less realistic, the emotions often run higher and higher. If I go outside of my ex-girlfriend's house and sit there for days, this gets less and less realistic, and the emotions gets higher and higher. So if you really care about something, this is what really raises the stakes. So how much the characters care about the plot. It's really raising the stakes, and then it's easy to change the characters. Give them what they want, you make them happy. Take them. If you don't give them what they want, you make them sad or angry. Okay? So if there is only action in a movie, then yes, it's spectacle, but the audience really must care about the outcome of this action thing. This is how you make the film better, to make the audience care about the outcome of the action movies. Okay? Okay, you can also have two status characters, one slowly rising, the other slowly lowering the status, and then you meet in the middle, and then you can send the status to the floor and to the roof and to the floor to make the comedy better. Like, prove it's how characters change. So at the end, we see a profound and irrevocable change taking place. The characters have been transformed, and we understand why. So yeah, in real life, people are not lowering their status willingly, but as an improviser, you must be bold and fearless. Okay? The audience can know the difference if you're really confident and you deliberately playing low status than if you're really uncertain. They know the difference. And if you deliberately lowered your status, you determine the direction of the scene. So, okay. The greatest part in any movie, is when the villain, the complete bastard, has the downfall. He's being humiliated. Okay, the really high status bastard, bad character, is going his status to the floor, and this is the best parts in the movies. Okay, the audience that hates the person, and if the person is playful, the audience will love to hate them more. Like in Harry Potter, that professor dressed in pink, she at the end gets downfall with fireworks, and that was extremely interesting. So always be changing. Okay, change is interesting. Like in real life, when a couple is starting to argue next to you, they cry, they shout, you must look, because they're changing. Emotional change. But if they stop fighting and nothing further is imminent, you will not look there anymore. You will go back to your thing. So, if you're assured that we have seen everything, we lose interest. But if there are changes and large emotional changes, we have to look. So fight the instinct to look sane and make emotional big changes. Okay? Powerful emotions are hard to fake. Okay? Have big responses in scenes and justify these responses, and this will drive the scenes forward. And elicit big emotions in others too. If they are not showing emotion, you say you have to be emotional about their lack of emotions. Okay? So, okay. You can also lose all your status at once, like, I'm crying, I'm somebody bad, and then I lose all the status, I'm crying. This will create a stunning effect if the loss of status is at an instant. Okay, it will create interest in the audience. This both sudden and shocking vulnerability of the character and the risk taken by the improviser will delight the audience. Okay. There are games where you must not use any words and only use the body movement. And yeah, you can also, there is a game where you must not say any concrete words like, but if you use with Italian or German accent, this will make better. Okay. And if you're physical, okay, if you're physical and at the same time both physical and with words, this will make the volume go up. People's eyes will open wider and start using their hands in expressive ways. Their body becomes fluid and dynamic. The scenes becomes physical. So use your body also. Okay? And use your body while also speaking English. Like both at the same time. Also, don't look for an offer at your partner. Assume that one has already been made. Okay? You don't go to your partner like doing nothing. You go like being very happy. or nervously, or I don't know. They will notice your attitude and make an assumption on who I am. Okay, I'm not neutral. I'm trying to make an assumption. I mean, you make an assumption about the character. Okay, many stories have battle of dominance at their core. If you have the same status and the same position, the two characters will be very hard to affect one another. So, in a game the master is harsh, but it must be harsher. Usually people are not harsh enough to put this servant and master relationship. Okay? We never tire of seeing an authority figure have the status threatened. Okay? But don't go too quickly on this, because it will be confusing. We watch drama to see other people suffer, because it's more fun than suffering ourselves and more interesting than being nice. Okay? So if a candidate is going for an interview, he's really desperate for the job, this raises the stakes. Okay? But if the interviewer is really impressed by the CV, and then he has something strange with him, like tearing up the CV, but he doesn't really know that he's doing that, and this affects the candidate, this will really make two characters affect one another. So will generate drama and comedy if the interviewers affect the other character. So if the characters are changed, this will make the scene go live, The candidate must get more and more confusing and upset, and the interviewer must deny that anything is wrong. For example, okay, we break this just before it becomes boring, and we increase the emotional stakes. So if you have one interviewer and the other candidate, and the interviewer starts saying bad things when the candidate is speaking, this will make everybody laugh, because it affects the character. But if you repeat the same thing, this will diminish the greatness of a scene. So if you repeat something, do somebody else react to that repetition, or the reactions must build, But at the end, the candidate must explicitly reference the strange behavior of the interviewer, and the interviewer must be baffled. He doesn't know he's doing that, like, Yahoo! And the candidate says, I'm doing that, and the interviewer says, yeah! And the candidate says, oh no, what are you doing? The interviewer must say, I'm doing what? I'm baffled, I don't do anything. So this makes the trouble for the candidate maximized. This will make everybody laugh. Okay? And at the end of a story or scene, you can violate some of the rules at the beginning. Like if it's a story about a flirtation man, at the end he turns out to be a virgin, This cancels the rules. But it's good. The ending will suggest themselves more easily. Okay, so you must not have a lot of ideas randomly at the beginning. You must take one idea and move that into the future. Okay, this is what you must do. And about the characters, there are externals that are not changing, like age, accent, mode of speech, style of the rest, way of moving. But there are also attitudes that changes from moment to moment, like emotions. Like, you can have these attitudes must change over the course of the scenes, like emotions, like status. Okay? Use strong characterization and attitudes to inspire the imaginations and make bold choices. Okay? Any character is capable of doing any action. An action which is out of character is only a choice that hasn't been justified. Great drama is about people doing extraordinary things, and you must find justifications for those extraordinary things. And characters transforming themselves, they must have strong attitudes toward other elements of the platform, including other characters, and to be willing to change those attitudes and justify the changes. And from these actions, the illusions of different characters will emerge. So, the rest of the plot can be simply developed as means of justifying the changes of emotions. Stories about one person being changed by another. If you remove this, all you have is jokes if you're lucky. So, if a scene gets boring, a change of emotion can make this go back live, be better. And transform the body first. Your body is always in the present. Okay, the audience interest peaks when a new character enters or when two characters are affected by each other. There don't have to be a big reaction every time. A brief moment of connection is often enough. There is also anticipatory pleasure if a hyperactive child enters the room and which the nervous of old lady is waiting. So you can also have anticipatory pleasure of characters. Okay, if the actors don't know how to play a character, give them instructions like pause and look into space, wait. This will achieve the desired results. There are a lot of type of characters like STEM headmaster, beauty pageant winner, member of boy band, heroin addict, lonely child, energetic old person, sexy weightlifter, angry teenager, dominatrix, Chicrus ringmaster, doorman at a grand hotel, store detective, cheesy nightclub singer, hilarious geisha. There are a lot of characters you can play. And what the audience sees may be very different from how you're feeling. Okay, the audience mind fills with preconceptions about you when you enter the scenes, like who you remind them of, how are you dressed, the last thing they saw you do, how the other members of the group relate to you, how comfortable you seem on stage, how happy you are to address them directly, how your hair is done, how tall you are, especially on what sex you are. Okay, if you wear obscene logo or you're a girl, the audience may get distracted, and this will be harder to get into a character. You have to be really convincing to do that. Okay, men stop listening when they see girls. Okay, so stripping is not the answer, or dressing everybody the same. People come to improv comedies to see people reveal something about themselves, express their personalities fully and completely. Audience loves story. What is a story? A changes B. How interesting that story depends on who A and B are, who the persons are. Okay? It's who the characters are and how they change, which is the most important. So play strong attitudes. This will inspire you. Okay? Be obvious. Also, you can play multiple attitudes within the same scene, like taking a cat to the veterinary. You can be sentimental to the cat but demanding to the vet. So audience like transitions. This will liven up the scene even more. Okay, energy needs to build, the stakes must be raised, and the routines must be broken. If you start in neutral, it will be easy to break the routine with a change of emotion, but it will be harder to find the right trouble for the right hero. But if you start with rich characters, strong characterization and attitudes, you'll find the right trouble for the hero quickly. So if the characters go back to the neutral over the course of the scenes and are not affected, are not changed, this will be unsatisfying for the audience. So the characters need to be changed. Take extraordinary action. Okay, so strong contrasting attitudes, strong purposes for characters, super objectives like I really must do that. Okay, a conflict develops, which adds to the drama. Conflict develops emotional energy at the expense of the story moving into the future. So if you start negatively with a lot of conflict, the story, it will be very hard to get off the ground. It's problematic to use negativity at the beginning. It closes the narrative. So start positive with a positive platform. It's much easier to build. So the trouble when it comes in a positive platform, it will break the routine easily. So if the two characters are in conflict, find the affinity between the characters. Okay, they must understand each other besides the characters. So okay, drama equals conflict. So good storytellers know when to set aside what the characters want and to find a way to take the story into the future. The hero at the beginning is first confronted by the call of adventure, but does not immediately set off on a quest. The next time, the hero refuses the call, only reluctantly accepting it when all other circumstances are not an option. So a weak choice can often be made stronger by adding a cost. Okay, the hero must make moral choices. If the right course of action is free of cost, then this is lowering the stakes and makes the story less interesting. So, if a character does something new, we see another side of the character. Okay, if the character must do this or that, either will do if the character is affected by that. It doesn't matter if it's A or B. Okay. So, great stories follow the implication of their authors to the end. You don't just at the end pour reversals. Okay. So the best way to be an improviser, to make a story, is to have a diverse set of tools and understand their effects. Okay. Canceling stories should only used at the end, because it ends the story. Okay, if the wolf is killed, the bad guy is killed, this ends the story. Okay, so try to find a lot of tools if you're an improviser, and always try to find another one. There is not one correct way of doing something. There are many correct ways. You must find them all, try them all. So, in a story, the strong attitude is something that you can hang on, and if you provide justification, it heightens the emotional energy. So make it personal. If you are confronted by a talking mouse and it makes you personal, like the mouse blames you for killing the other mouse, if this is very personal, it can really move an audience, either to laughter or tears. So make it personal in the stories. Okay. Trust your obvious. Okay. When you create characters with dimension, like in real life, like the opposite. You know, if a parking inspector is something opposite, like, you know, trying to overthrow the system, use reverse psychology, something opposite of the character, this will add dimension to the character. If I'm a librarian with a lot of tattoos, like the opposite, which is normal, this adds a dimension, like in real life. This will make the characters better. So everyone's obvious, like the normal characters, like a librarian, boring, is a cliche. But if the character is opposite of the obvious, this is something different. This is interesting to the audience. And if their actions are justified, it will make a great story. Okay? Okay, so try to think what is the opposite of my character and do that. You can also go having extreme characters, go further. So if parking inspectors, you don't pay a fine and I take the cash out of your pocket, you know, like really extreme. This will make the people care about the characters. It goes the observability curves quickly. It's really fun because the unreasonableness and determination of the characters will make everybody laugh. You know, in Monty Python, you can also have opposite characters, like a politician. Politician is really the last person we would expect to do silly things. You can also have arbitraries, random characters, like one who is obsessed with sex and think that everything the other person says is something sexual. This is a random, but it's a good character. Okay? But beware of having two crazy people. You must have a straight person and a crazy person, a normal person and a crazy person. Because that's how you give the audience access to the world. If you have two crazy characters, this is a crazy world. They're all the same, nothing interesting. Okay? You can also play a character who asks the questions in the mind of the audience. Okay. So, Shakespeare didn't write about, you know, normal persons. He's writing about huge extremes of emotions, you know, really extreme reactions, you know. So if you must push forward that extreme reactions, do more. If you don't believe what you're doing, if you don't sell it, the audience won't buy it. So commit to your actions. Do it until the end. Okay? So thank you for seeing this part 1 of Improv Comedy and Cinema Film Creating. I am Alin Vlad. I will make the part 2. Right now I'm starting filming after this. So thank you for watching and I love you all and sing. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.